This video is for entertainment purposes only. Nothing should be taken as factual. This is all my astrological opinion. Please enjoy. Hey, this is Sonia with Melanin Goddess Life. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another astrological celebrity video. I know it's been a while. I've been away. Hopefully you guys had a great holiday. We're about to approach 2023, and I am super excited about the energy that we're entering into. If you want to check out some of my videos talking about our upcoming 2023 and where I see certain things going, please check out the videos on my YouTube channel. But today we are spotlighting another celebrity. As you know, I pick random celebrities, celebrities that I resonate or just kind of curious about what's going on with them. And I look at their astrological makeup and what's going on with them and what is upcoming for them. So I have chosen a celebrity whom I like. He is so funny to me. He is an entertainer. He's a rapper. He's a Southern guy. And if everybody knows that I'm from the South, so I'm partial to Southern entertainers. But I find him to be a very interesting person. Outside of his music, he has a huge social media presence, and he is so naturally funny. And he's one of those types of people that are funny and don't even realize how funny they are. But he has, to me, like a really good energy. I like him. So I'm going to be spotlighting none other than Terrence Hatch, a.k.a. Boosie Badass. So we're highlighting Boosie Badass. So everybody knows Boosie. Everybody knows Boosie. And Boosie is a big social media. He's very popular on social media. And I love Boosie's storytelling, the way he tells a story. I like the way he talks. He's very real and authentic. He doesn't really have any type of fake energy to him. He's the epitome of what you see is what you get. And if I tell you, it tickles me when he gets on social media and he says, I need a favor. He always needs a favor. He always needs someone to tell him how to get something. So I like Boosie, and I thought I wanted to take a look at Boosie's astrology, see what's coming up for him in 2023. Hopefully he sees this video and he hears something that he resonates with on this video and he enjoys it. So without further ado, let's get into the astrology of Boosie Badass. So Boosie was born November the 14th, 1982. He's just had a birthday. Happy birthday. In Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I do not have a birth time for Boosie, so when I don't have a birth time, the rising sign is going to be about 50-50. He is currently 40 years old. That makes him a Scorpio sun, Scorpio moon, and an Aquarius rising. Let me tell you something. When I put in the information and got his moon sign, Boosie epitomizes Scorpio energy. Scorpios, I look at them two ways. Those are the best friends to ever have and the worst enemies to ever have. So it is no in between. it's no in between. One thing about Scorpio energy is where you stand with them. They're very clear about where you stand with them. These people are very intense. They hold on to a lot of things. So you can know a Scorpio for your entire life and you really don't know the depths of that person. Another thing that I find is a great quality about Scorpio energy, and you can tell Scorpios are one of my favorite people, is Scorpio has an energy about them where people feel comfortable telling them their deepest, darkest secrets. Number one, they feel like Scorpios can be trusted with that information, which they normally can. And number two, Scorpios aren't shaken by hearing things that may seem taboo to other people or maybe would make other people nervous or uncomfortable. They're not like that. They will listen to your story intently, and they will investigate it. They want to dig down deep on the dynamics, what's going on underneath, and they want to try to solve it and help you. They're considered the investigators of the zodiac. So if there's something that's heavy, heavy, heavy on your psyche or deep down that you feel like no one will ever understand this about me, tell it to a Scorpio. They will understand. and they won't judge. They're not very judgmental people. Now, he's an Aquarius rising. Does he give me Aquarius rising energy? You know what? I don't know. I'm gonna have to get a little bit further in the reading with him to see if I can pick up on that Aquarian energy. But we'll get further in the reading on that. Now, so Boosie is 40 years old. So he just had a birthday. So we're going to talk about what the theme of his year will be. So that's from his last birthday, which was just a couple of weeks ago, November the 14th, 2022 to November the 14th, 2023. The theme of Boosie's year is going to have a lot to do with fifth house matters. And in astrology, the fifth house is what we consider the house of joy. So this encompasses the house of joy. This encompasses romance, dating, love affairs, casual sex. This is the house that governs our children. Procreation, pregnancy is here. Areas that we take a risk on, our creative nature, and just finding our joy again. So in the forefront of Boosie's life for this year into his next birthday has a lot to do with dating. Now, I don't know Boosie's personal life, so I'm not really sure if he's romantically involved with someone. So let's go on the premise that he's single. This will definitely put energy around a lot of dating opportunities for him getting out and socializing, dating and keeping things light. And just having a good time. This is a lot of romance. And for some reason, he seems like a romantic guy. This seems a lot of romance around him. So if he's in the energy of wanting to draw in someone to him on a romantic nature, this will definitely be energy around supporting him with his dating life and his romantic life. Now, if he's in a relationship, this is all about bringing the romance back to the relationship. This is all about bringing the newness and the freshness to his dating life. But this is just really a good time around dating. This is also energy around his children. So this will look like a lot of interactions with his children. This will also look like his children having a lot of milestones. So him being a part of their new beginnings and things that are happening around them as they proceed in life, and him being a part of that. Now, this also is energy around pregnancy. So I always have to put in there is the potential to hear of a pregnancy with someone close to him. It may be him. I don't know if he's still in the space of wanting to have more children. That's up to him. Maybe that's something that crosses his mind or he thinks about, or maybe someone close to him announces that they're having a baby. I'm going to be honest with you. When I have clients that are of the age that they're out of the baby making time, and they have adult children, a lot of time this energy plays out with them becoming first-time grandparents. So I don't know, where he is with that, but he may hear information with regards to someone very close to him announcing that they're having a baby. But this is all about his creativity. So this will look like hobbies. So if there's anything that Boosie has wanted to take up as a hobby, this will be a great year for him to do that. But this is just him finding his joy again, finding his happiness again. Whatever that looks like for him, this is going to be the energy of the year of joy for Boosie. Okay. Now, of course, I did my relationship activity age calculation for him. Again, I don't know about his personal life, so I don't know if he's dating anyone. But I do this with all my clients and my celebrity readings. And this is, of course, the formula that I use to calculate when I feel like a person is going to come into relationship energy, or they should see some type of impactful change or transformation by way of their romantic life. And it just depends on what is currently going on with that person. So number one, if this was Boosie and he's totally single, not romantically connected to anyone, this would look like energy around him meeting someone for the potential for a long-term committed relationship. Scenario number two would be if Boosie is in a relationship, the relationship is going well, good dynamics around the relationship. This would look like him wanting to put permanence on the relationship. So that could look like moving in together, getting engaged, getting married, or making some exclusive monogamous commitment to another person. Scenario number three would be if Boosie is in a relationship and the relationship is not going well. This could definitely bring friction to the relationship with the potential for a breakup. And if it's none of these things, or it could be all of these things in the span of a year, the final scenario would look like this is the time when Boosie would get real serious about what he wants in a romantic relationship, what he wants in a relationship, what he wants in a partner, and working on how he shows up in relationships and making himself a better partner. The age in which I came up with, well, I feel like something should shift or transform around his romantic life, is the age of 41. So that year of 41, we could see something significant or impactful happen with regards to love in Boosie's life. Okay? Now, let's start to talk about the energies upcoming for him now and for the next 6 months. Okay? So first thing we're going to talk about is Boosie's money. Okay? So we're going to talk about the second house, which is the house of our earned income. This is how we earn our money. Basically, this is how we earn our money. This is the house of our material possessions. This is the house of our investments. This is the house of our self-worth and our value. And Boosie has some heavy, heavy energy in this second house. Now, we're going to first talk about this Jupiter that's going through there. Personally, this is my favorite place for Jupiter to be. So when it's transiting and going through a house, it's moving through a house. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, abundance, growth, and opportunity. It's the planet of wisdom and healing. So when Jupiter comes through a house in astrology, it is there to expand it. It is there to bring it a blessing. It is there to bring it growth and opportunity. So this is why I love to see Jupiter in the second house, because this is all about growing your money. So Jupiter takes up residence for about a year. So Boosie has about until the first week of May 2023. So that says to me, this energy has been with him and since this past May 2022, because Jupiter takes about a year to go through a house. This is excellent for Boosie growing his money. What he will find is that his money gets really, really good. A lot of money-making opportunities coming his way. A lot of energy and support around him making a lot of investments. So I would definitely say to him, investments in real estate, investments in stocks, bonds, cryptocurrency, whatever it is that he wants to do, I would hope that he would take this opportunity to start investing and growing his investment portfolio. This will definitely look like energy around him acquiring material possessions. But the acquisition of these material possessions are going to be a little bit different. Him being very strategic and mindful of what he's purchasing. Only purchasing things that hold their value. So this wouldn't be something like purchasing a car or something, because we know that depreciates in value. This would be more like purchasing more real estate, a home, property. This would look like, again, stocks, bonds, investments. Certain types of jewelry would be an investment. So him being very strategic on where he's investing his money, because we're investing money for the long game, for the long haul, not for the temporary satisfaction or the immediate gratification. We're looking at building generational wealth. So this is going to be a great energy that supports him in that. Now, another thing that this will do is, if Boosie has any type of unhealthy relationship or unhealthy dynamic with money or material possessions, so that could look like him tying his self-worth into money and how much he has, him putting an unhealthy importance on money, him putting his value on money. And what happens with that is he could get in the energy of, if this is something that he's had a problem with before, this is a time for him to heal that knowing that money does not define him. Money does not define his self-worth, and not tying that if I don't have X amount of dollars, I don't feel good about myself. Not letting money have an emotional hold on him. Understanding that money is energy, it is currency, it flows in and out, and that's just the way it is. And whether you have $1 or $100 million, you are the same person either way. I'm a good person either way, and I don't tie my self-worth to money. So if that's a lesson that he's needed to learn, this is going to be a great time for him to release any unhealthy relationship or dynamics he has with money or material possessions. But he has excellent energy for growing his money at this time. I want him to get really clear on his budget and which he probably already does because he's a Scorpio, and understanding where every dime is going, and just investing wisely and looking at his money for the long haul and for the long game, and how he's investing it and how he's growing it. He's got excellent energy to grow himself financially in just a window of a year. Now, in that same house, he does have an energy, a planet that I'm a little bit concerned about. And it is the planet Neptune. The planet Neptune is the planet of fantasy. It's the planet of drama. It's the planet of spirituality. It's the planet of a little bit of confusion, delusion, escapism, and not seeing things clearly. Now, when Neptune goes through a house, it can bring a little bit of deception with it, whether we're deceiving ourselves or we're being deceived by someone else. Neptune stays in a house for about 14 years. So unfortunately, Boosie has an extended period of time with this in his second house. So he's got double-digit years. What he needs to be cautious of is number one, I always tell people with Neptune going through their second house, don't loan out money that you can't afford to lose. The likelihood of you getting that money back is not high. Okay, that's number one. Number two, Boosie has to be mindful of getting involved in get rich quick schemes or pyramid schemes or money making plans or money making ideas that seem too good to be true. They probably are too good to be true. So he's got to be really careful of falling into that energy of being deceived around his money. He also has to be careful with identity theft. So identity theft, breaches of security with his bank accounts, things of that nature. He needs to be careful with that. Also, really needs to be careful with the people that he entrusts with his money. Okay, so I'm going to say this. I would strongly suggest if Boosie is watching this video, he needs to get an independent audit of his finances, especially if he has other people involved, like accountants or tax people, things of that nature. I would strongly suggest that he gets an outside audit, because he may find that his money is being mismanaged, especially if he's not been paying attention to it. And just moving forward for the next few years, he needs to really, really be careful about who he's entrusting with his money and the people that have authorization over how his money and his funds are allocated. I would hate for him to discover that he's being pretty much ripped off or deceived by someone that has been entrusted to take care of his financial situations. Okay, so I would strongly suggest that he do that, and definitely look into his tax situation and make sure that his taxes are being paid properly and they are caught up. But again, he's just going to have to be very mindful of how he does business and who he goes into business with over the next few years and who he ties his money to. Okay. Next thing we're going to talk about is his third house. Now, he has, again, some energy going through his third house. The third house is the house of communication. It's the house of lower education. So this is more vocational education as opposed to college level. It is the house that governs our siblings, our cousins, our neighbors. Our neighborhood is here. Our transportation is here. And it's the thinking house, how we teach, how we think, how we learn, and how we express ourselves. Okay. So Boosie has a couple of things going on here. He has first the planet Uranus. The planet Uranus is the planet of unpredictable changes, unexpected events, doing things differently, going against the grain, not staying with the status quo. And then he has his North Node. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Uranus. Uranus takes about 7 years to go through a house. So it's been in Boosie's third house, probably, I'm going to guesstimate about 4 years. So we have roughly about 2 to 3 more years with it being here in the third house. In the third house, with Uranus going here, this is all about learning opportunities, possibly teaching opportunities outside of the box. This is also the area that governs lower media. So we look at social media, websites, podcasts, writing a book, television is here. So this is a lot of energy around to support Boosie with projects like writing a book. I hope he's been writing a book. I think he could do well as an author. So this supports him on writing a book, maybe a movie, television, screenplay. I would strongly suggest that Boosie is really, really, for me, energetically aligned with having a podcast. I could definitely see him doing that. And I hope that's something that he's been considering or at least will think about. I think he would be great at hosting a podcast. His social media presence, he is a really, really strong online presence. So I want him to get more serious about making that work for him. But I definitely think this podcast thing would be ideal for him. This is also energy around unpredictable dynamics and relationships with our siblings, cousins, and possibly our neighbors. Just out of the blue, unexpected, kind of different interactions. Basically, it looks like with these types of dynamics that people are just doing unexpected things that you just really didn't know that they were capable of doing. So he may have that kind of dynamic. This also could bode for a sibling, cousin, or neighbor suffering from possible mental health issues. Here in the last few years and possibly in the next couple of years. So he may have to deal with erratic behavior with regards to a family member. Now, how this could possibly impact his neighborhood. There could be some changes going on in the dynamics of his neighborhood. I don't know if he's had some unexpected, uncomfortable interactions with his neighbors, or there are changes in his current neighborhood that he's not satisfied with. This could also look like Boosie potentially moving or buying another property, but the move is not a big one. It's somewhat where he is now, and then he either moves somewhere else or buys a property, but it's kind of in the same general vicinity of where he's living. That could be something that comes up for him in the next couple of years, or if it's already happened, or he's thinking about that. I'm wondering if he's about to buy a new vehicle. He might be thinking about buying a new vehicle of some sort. And this is great for educational pursuits, especially if he's wanting to do like really short vocational type education, not necessarily college level, but educational pursuits that take, anywhere from 6 months, less than 2 years for you to complete the course. But it makes you more marketable. It boosts your education. It boosts, enhance your marketability. So he may want to take a class, maybe a writing class. Maybe he wants to study a foreign language of some sort. But I'm really pushing for him to think about doing this podcast, and maybe he's thinking about authoring a book that would definitely tie into this. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is this Pluto in the 12th house. Pluto is the planet of transformation, evolution, death, and rebirth. It takes anywhere from 14 to 30 years to go through a house. So it is a very slow moving energy. And with the slow moving planets, this is all about long-term transformation. So it's not moving as quickly as the other planets. However, it is just as impactful. It is in his 12th house. And when I look at planets that move this slowly, I look at what degree they're at, and that kind of tells me what kind of interaction is happening with this planet. Now, the 12th house, it governs endings, closure, our traumas. This is the house of karma. This is the house of our healing, our addictions. Specialized populations are here. So this is hospitals, rehab centers, prisons, things of that nature, and foreign lands. Boosie has Pluto there, the planet of death, rebirth, transformation, literally and figuratively death and rebirth and transformation. It's also the house of power. The planet of power and evolution. And it's at the 26th degree, which says to me, I'm wondering if Boosie is going through some type of psychological type healing. This degree with this Pluto would be ideal for Boosie to start to tackle any of those traumas, hurts, addictions, whatever is going on with him that are really in a pushed down, suppressed way, that he's been holding on possibly from childhood. I would hope that he's considering going into therapy of some sort. This is the time for him to heal any hurts that he may still be holding on to. And I strongly suggest therapy for him. I send him healing vibes, whatever this is that he may be dealing with. But I believe he's in a space of wanting to really dive down deep into his psychology, dive down deep into his self, and really, really make some deep down transformative changes on a deep psychological level. Okay. Now, this could also have a lot to do with dealing with people in confined spaces. So this could look like him or someone deciding to check themselves into rehab, into a wellness center. This may have him dealing with someone that has a hospital stay, and possibly someone that is dealing with an incarceration of some sort. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about his first house, which is the house of self, our physical body, our energy, how people experience us, things of that nature. He has Saturn going through this first house, and Saturn typically takes about 2 years to go through a house. It's been there probably roughly for about 6 to 9 months. Of course, when Saturn goes to the first house, it affects our physical body. Now, one of the things it can do is it can make us really tired. So we're constantly feeling like we're run down, we're not getting enough sleep. We just feel like we're not at our physical best. So when Saturn goes to the first house, one of the things you need to make sure of is that you're taking care of your physical body, because it will make you feel run down. So I want him to get enough sleep. I want him to eat properly, get enough rest, decompress, because stress will definitely hit you a lot when you have Saturn in the first house. Again, this is going to be a 2-year cycle. Now, another thing it will do is Saturn in the first house, if you're not watching it, it will make you age. It will age you and your physical body. So he definitely needs to start to pay attention to his health, because one of the things Saturn will also come do into this house and do is it could set up a physical ailment or a health scare. So definitely pay attention to that. But what it really is coming to do is to mature you. It is coming to you to say Saturn is like the taskmaster of the zodiac, and it wants to know, like, Boosie, okay, we're entering a new phase in our life. What are our goals? What are we trying to do at this phase in our life? What are we trying to change? Let's get serious about the plan moving forward. And what are we doing? So Saturn wants to whip you into shape, get you matured, get you growth, have you to do the work and whatever it is you need to do, because this is also the area that governs our personal goals. So him getting serious about his personal goals and where he sees his life moving forward is going to be a focus for him over the next 2 years. But most importantly, I want him to pay attention to his health, how he's taking care of himself, getting enough proper rest and nutrition, and definitely taking care of his mental health is going to be a thing. Okay, now looking at some of the squares, he has a lot of squares going on and a lot of oppositions. In astrology, when we have squares in our chart, that's about pressure. That's about us being inside of a box and the universe saying, hey, I need you to make a decision on some things. And I'm going to be continuing to apply pressure to this certain area of your life until you make the appropriate changes. So one of the things that I saw that he is squaring off with, he has a Neptune square. Neptune square generally hit us between the age of 40 and 43. Now, Neptune square, he has the transiting Neptune in his second house of money, his earned income, and it is squaring off with his natal Neptune in his 11th house of friends, social groups, long-term goals, dreams, and wishes, and organizations. Again, the square is pressure. So this is a dynamic of, and I don't know if this resonates with him, having issues with money and possibly friends. So I don't know if this is business dealings with friends that are not going well. I don't know if this is friends taking advantage of him financially. Um, but whatever this is, he needs to make a decision with regards, I guess, to the dynamics of the friendships that he has around him. Because I think they're weighing heavily on him financially. I don't know if he's got a bunch of people around him that are just living off of him financially and really not putting anything back into him, but he's probably needing to make some changes in his friend groups. Okay. Another square that he has going on is his Pluto square, which is typically between 36 and 43. And that is squaring off in his ninth house of his belief system, his spirituality, foreigners, educational pursuits, and it's squaring off into this 12th house. That house of his deep psychological, what's going on with the inner workings of him. I want to say that Boosie's going through a spiritual awakening, and it's very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. I think he's going through a spiritual awakening. I think that certain beliefs that he's had for himself, he no longer resonates with anymore. I think it may be a struggle for him to let go of certain things, certain beliefs that he's had, but he knows that they no longer serve him or align with him. And it's just a struggle to let those things go. Or he's getting the realization that what I believed was life no longer resonates with me anymore. What I used to believe in, maybe around spirituality, maybe around religion, something is breaking free from him, and it is definitely going to put him in a different space spiritually. And finally, he has a Uranus opposition, and that happens between 38 and 41. It hasn't quite lined up yet, and it probably won't line up for, well, maybe it has lined up. Well, no. It's probably going to be a couple of years before it lines up, but when it does, it's going to impact his family life and versus his career life. So dynamic changes are coming up for him with regards to family and career, but that's a little bit of down the line, maybe in the next couple of years or so. Now, the final thing that I want to talk about is just some things that I saw in his natal chart that really stood out for me and are very interesting to me. I'm just going to be honest with you. When I looked at Boosie's chart, I'm just going to say it. Boosie has a lot of energy in his birth chart in his ninth house of spirituality and faith. And I would like to believe that there could have been a time, or there will be a time, that, first of all, Boosie considered being some type of either minister or some type of a deacon in the church or something to that effect. I don't know if it crossed his mind that he was going to go into ministry of some sort. So ministry may have crossed his mind in his youth. And ministry can look like a lot of things. Of course, we can look like ministry in church or ministering to people. Boosie has a message to get out. And this is why I want him to do this podcast, because people will resonate with what he says. So I don't know if he thought about being a pastor at some time in his life, or he actually may go into ministry later in life. I would not be surprised. I also would not have been surprised that if he does some type of advocacy work from a legal standpoint. He could have been when he was a kid, thought he was going to be a lawyer or something. That could have been a thing. But I think he's going to be something to the effect of advocating for people that possibly have something to do with the criminal justice system. Maybe he takes up the cause of people that have been wrongfully accused, and that becomes his life message or his life work at some point. I don't know. I'm just kind of like putting that out there. But it just stood out to me how spiritual he is. He is highly spiritual. Now, religion and spirituality are two different things. I don't know what his religious beliefs are, but that's his religious beliefs. But certain he is a highly spiritual person. Boosie is a huge manifester. I hope he's tapped into his gift of manifestation, because he has the power to manifest things just by his words, just by his thoughts, and how he feels about certain things. So I'm hoping he's tapped into his manifestation gift, because he is a natural manifester, like crazy spiritually, divinely gifted in that area is what I see for him. Now, to sum it up, Boosie has a great year for his money, to grow his wealth, not just his money, to grow his wealth and generational wealth. I want him to use that energy. I want him to also, whatever this is, tap into this educational component that he has going on with him. I would love for him to do a podcast. I would love for him to write a book. That would be awesome for me to see. Another thing is, I hope that he is considering therapy or some type of assistance with dealing with healing any type of traumas, hurts, that he may be holding on to and needing to release those things at this time. And just for the next couple of years, be very diligent about taking care of his health. Okay, that is the reading for Boosie. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you would like a personal reading with me, please visit my website at www.melaningoddesslife.biz. Follow me on all the social media networks, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I think that's it. And please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I have uploaded new videos. Thank you so much for your time, and you have a great day. Bye-bye.